Wordsworth was a revolutionary. He was younger than William Blake. He wrote about many themes and centered romantic ideas into his persona. He was born in Lake District, a rural area far from London, and was grown as an orphan when he was young. In his poetry, he goes back to his childhood memories as Coleridge does in Frost at Midnight. He studied theology at St. John's College in Cambridge and ended up as a priest. He believed in natural theology, i.e., finding God through nature, and he also believed that children had to be schooled by nature as well as Coleridge. Nature was connected with the idea of the sublime. For Wordsworth, nature was something extremely beautiful as well as dangerous. Wordsworth had experiences where he was at the mercy of nature, like the one he had in Lake District, being alone in a boat, or being trapped alone in the dark mountains. These experiences made him feel alive. He felt a sense of the sublime when he was at mercy of nature. Moreover, nature was linked to nostalgia, as romantics remembered other times when nature was a source of freedom. This is what Wordsworth felt when he visited the ruins of Tintern Abbey. There were a lot of ruins of Catholic monasteries because Henry VIII became Protestant and broke with Catholicism. They remembered the pre-industrialist past, where a natural rhythm was followed. After having seen the French Revolution, he went back with his pregnant girlfriend to England and felt depressed, so he used poetry to heal, as well as Keats, Shelley, or Coleridge. He wrote Lyrical Ballads in 1798 together with Coleridge to give a voice to minorities. As a matter of fact, the form is popular rustic, and it was considered the first romantic manifest. When Wordsworth returned to England, he wanted the voices of the working class to be heard, so everyone that appears in the book was different ordinary people. They made literature, art, from the Revolution. Although Wordsworth was more concerned with revolution than Coleridge.
She Dwelt Among the Untrodden Ways is a poem that belongs to Lyrical Ballads and whose main theme is children in nature, and it is full of subjectivity. Regarding the formal aspects, this poem is a 12-line ballad divided into 3 quatrains whose rhyme scheme is ABAB, CDCD, FFIE. It has a crossed rhyme. Analyzing the poem in depth, we can see the literary topo locus aminus as Lucy, the main character, a bay that lived in a remote place. She dwelt among the untrodden ways. We can also find an omen because we have dwelt in the past, but not anymore. This advances us that she will die. Moreover, we know that she lived in a high place with clear water and fresh air, beside the springs of Dove, and that she was a young woman has not been loved by many. A maid whom there were none to praise and very few to love. Furthermore, through natural imagery, the author implies that she was beautiful and unique although she lived in a remote place, hidden from the rest, a violet by a mossy stone half hidden from the eye. Moreover, through natural imagery related to heaven, he remarks on her beauty, fair as a star, when only one is shining in the sky. Furthermore, then he mentions that she was not known, she lived unknown, and that people did not notice when she died, and few could know when Lucy ceased to be. He concludes the poem with an emotional response to the death of Lucy, who has become part of nature, but she is in her grave, and, oh, the difference to me.
3 years she grew in sun and shower is a poem that belongs to Lyrical Ballads and whose main theme is that when we die we do not go to heaven but instead we become part of nature. This is related to the concept of mutability, i.e. nature is in constant change. In this poem he wonders about Lucy, which is the main character of She Dwelt Among the Untrodden Ways. Apart from this, hope and grief are present in the poem, and he does this by using antithetical language, a language based in opposites. Regarding the formal aspects, this poem is a 12-line ballad divided into 3 quatrains whose rhyme scheme is abab, CDCD, EFEFIE. It has a crossed rhyme. Analyzing the poem in depth, we can see that a 3-year-old child, Lucy, was in contact with nature no matter warmth or cold. 3 years she grew in sun and shower. Then the author implies that nature has taken her from him for being so beautiful. Then nature said, "A lovelier flower on earth was never sown. This child I to myself will take. She shall be mine, and I will make a lady of my own." In the next stanza, through nature and by using opposites, the author describes his reaction towards Lucy's death. The author implies that as he walks the earth and into heaven, he will always feel her presence. And he will feel an overseeing power, that he will either kindle or restrain. In earth and heaven, in glade and bower shall feel an overseeing power to kindle or restrain. We can see the opposites in this stanza: law, referring to natural laws, and impulse, as spontaneous, rock and plain, earth and heaven, glade and bower, and finally, kindle and restrain.
The author then focuses his attention on Lucy and believes that wherever she is she would be happy and running wild in nature. She shall be sportive as the fawn that wild with glee across the lawn or up the mountain springs. Moreover, the author believes that she will also find calm wherever she is, and hers the silence and the calm of mute insensate things. In the next stanza, he keeps wondering how she would be, and she is presented as the queen of nature to her, for her the willow bend. Apart from this, he imagines her in heaven, in the clouds, watching the people on earth. The floating clouds their state shall lend to her. He believes that she will see the silent sympathy that he feels for her, even in the motions of the storm, grace that shall mold the maiden's form by silent sympathy. In the next stanza, the author mentions that she will be enjoying her time with the stars. To stars of midnight shall be dear to her. We can see the opposites mentioned before: the stars that are fixed in the sky, another dimension, and the secret place where rivulets dance their wayward round, the ground. He concludes this stanza by using synesthesia. As he mixes emotions, the sound becomes beauty, and beauty born of murmuring sound shall pass into her face. The next stanza deals with mutability. As she is part of nature, the author believes that Lucy will be growing full vitality. He wants to share this thought with Lucy, to feel her together with him. Such thoughts to Lucy I will give while she and I together live here in this happy dell. The poem ends by addressing nature as the authority responsible for Lucy's death, and by knowing that the past will not come back. Thus nature spake, the work was done, oh soon my Lucy's race was run. She died, and left to me this heath, this calm and quiet scene, the memory of what has been, and never more will be.